I finally was able to ditch that 20 kilos without food restrictions, and I've kept it off now for the last 12 years. Consistency and persistency is the key, small adjustments over time. And, I always get asked, what do I eat? So in this episode, I actually thought, how about we go through what I eat? This is Katie Gordon, and you're listening to the Wait is Over podcast. Welcome, health and freedom seekers. Sit back and relax as you come on this journey of overcoming obstacles so you can lose weight, gain health, and live the life you've been looking for. Hello, listeners, and welcome to this week's show. I'm your host, Katie Gordon, and the wait is over with Dietless Living 360 degrees. There's no recipes, food regimes, or exercise programs to follow. This is simply about how to take your life back, how to take control. Because we all have a voice and we want to be heard. We want to forget about dieting, focus on living, and lose weight. And to do that, we need to create a new mindset, a mindset that gets us over the obstacles and challenges of life and our own unconscious program, because it's ultimately what's really impacting on our weight and health and causing habit relapse. And the purpose of this podcast is to share with you what I learned over 25 years in dieting hell and spending over $100,000 working out how to step into dietless living. Because no one should have to go through that much BS just to lose weight permanently. And today I'm celebrating my 1-year anniversary. This is the 52nd episode of Dietless Living 360 degrees. And I'm just so chuffed to be here. And thank you to all of you who've been watching and paying attention and changing your life using the information that I'm sharing. And we're also actually celebrating the power of taking small steps and how small adjustments and small steps actually equals bringing dreams to life. The power really lays in actually getting started, moving forward, and improving as you go, pushing past the fear, refining your processes, getting advice, and just keep turning up. Consistency and persistency is the key to creating anything. Adjustment, 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 done every day over time equals creating the change that you want to make. So take this podcast. It started off really clunky, to say the very least, but I kept going and I've interviewed over 30 people about their greatest obstacles and challenges, what they were able to do, how these things impact on their weight and health, and their mindset that gets them over it. And here I am 1 year later, vastly improved from when I started. And, that really was my philosophy on weight loss. After a quarter of a century of losing and gaining this very same 20 kilos, I finally developed my own weight loss program using the best of 300 change behavior strategies that are documented over that 25 years. And, I finally was able to ditch that 20 kilos without food restrictions, and I've kept it off now for the last 12 years. Consistency and persistency is the key, small adjustments over time. And, I always get asked, what do I eat? So in this episode, I actually thought, how about we go through what I eat? Because this is how I made small adjustments to my food and where I'm at now, and how I was able to lose the weight through these small changes and the strategies and interventions that I used to help support those food changes so that I didn't habit relapse. So, I went from the all dancing, all singing, eating every bad kind of junk food that was out there. I used to have all the McDonald's, all the KFC, bags of lollies, bags of chocolates, ice cream, you name it. I ate it, fried foods, really, buttery toast, the whole kit and caboodle. I consumed it, gallons of milk. And that's how I just made small changes. So I'll sort of take you through what I eat simply by, we'll do a mental wander around the supermarket. So when I go to the supermarket, I basically go through the fruit and veg department first. There's any number of things there that I choose, but they're all fresh, uncut fruit and vegetable. I don't buy any pre-made, pre-cut things. So I always just make my own, and I keep life pretty simple. I go through to the deli section. The only things I buy from a delicatessen are olives, Dalmatis, maybe occasionally, hardly at all, but I do buy them. White cheese, so I might buy, they just have a nice goat's feta there that I like, and I just buy normal feta in bulk, a Greek feta. On rare occasions, like if I'm shopping, I'm hungry, I haven't had lunch, I will buy a small amount of ham, like 100 grams, and I'll buy a fresh bread roll, and I'll go home and I'll make myself a ham and salad roll. Other than that, I never buy ham anymore. It's not something that sits in my cupboard. I never buy salamis or any of the other cold meats. Perhaps on occasion, the ham is turkey meat, but I really don't buy them because they're so full of things that really aren't good for our health. Very rarely do I buy bacon, and if I do, I just buy a couple of rashers and they go in the freezer because I really don't cook it. I just like to have it there. There's this thing in my mind that says just have some bacon in the freezer, and generally it goes in the bin after about 6 months, but I do buy it and I do eat bacon. I do eat bacon when I go out for breakfast. I will have eggs Benedict. That's my favorite thing. And I always have it with bacon. Now, when I have eggs Benedict, this is a small change that anyone can make, is I get the hollandaise on the side, because otherwise they smother it in hollandaise. And so I just always have the hollandaise on the side. I always take the eggs and everything off and push the muffin or whatever it comes on to the side as well. I usually only eat half of that. But I love eggs Benedict. I enjoy bacon. These are all good things to have, but like I said, I don't really eat them very often. Occasionally, I buy pre-made coleslaw from the supermarket because I won't make it myself. I do like coleslaw. There's usually oozing in so much mayonnaise and stuff. I don't really buy a lot of them, so I buy a small container and I enjoy it over 1 week. Yippee dippy, it's very nice, but it's not something I have every day. The same with their tabbouleh or any of the other things. I don't buy pasta salad and I don't buy potato salad. I'm not really into pasta or potatoes in any case, so that's really why I don't buy them, but they also seem to have a lot more mayonnaise in them. I usually make my own salads when I'm in the mood for it, and they are made up of basically just fresh salad vegetables and pre-cooked vegetables. I like to steam broccoli and cauliflower and put it in. I like to grill zucchini and put it in. Sometimes I might roast some root vegetables like sweet potato or carrot and put that in. And other than that, it's just good old rocket, lettuce, herbs, tomato, those kinds of things. I don't really eat cucumber. It's not my thing. And I dress it with olive oil, lemon juice. That's about it, and salt. As I go around the supermarket, dairy, I still like my milk. I buy all full cream cheese, full cream milk, full cream yogurt. Everything is full cream. I ditched eating yellow cheese for the longest time. It just jams up the works in my body. So I really did ditch it for about, I don't know, 10 years. And it sort of crept its way back into my life about 2 years ago. And so I'm just edging it back out. I do enjoy eating it, but I eat it rarely. I prefer not to have it. So I've gone from buying kilo blocks again back down to buying this little 250 gram blocks. And that now lasts for about a month. So feta cheese is a staple in my fridge, as is plain Greek yogurt. I like that. I make sure it's and actually it's like the Woolies brand or the Coles brand. Actually, the Woolies brand is better. It's just plain, nothing in it. And then if I want something sweet in it, I add a bit of honey. But I use plain Greek yogurt instead of sour cream for a lot of things. So I have yogurt on. If I make Mexican food for myself, I have yogurt instead of sour cream. I also eat creme fraiche rather than normal cream. But again, they're things that are in my fridge. They're a staple, but I don't use them all the time. Butter, never, ever, ever. Margarine and eggs. And eggs are pretty much an everyday staple in my life. I've had 2 eggs a day for as long as I can remember. I went through a stage where I just didn't have them, didn't notice any difference in my health. There's so many theories about eggs, how many you should have and shouldn't have. I just eat as many eggs as I like. I generally have 2 a day. Sometimes it's 4. I like to make an egg flip. If I get an urge for something nice in the evening and I don't have a lot of time to make dinner, I'll have an egg flip, which is raw eggs in milk with some maple syrup, nutmeg, cinnamon, and a little bit of salt. Yippee skippy, it's very nice. It's a little protein shake, not made with any processed protein powders, just good old-fashioned egg protein and milk protein. And fruit is the gift from the gods. I love, love, love fruit. I've always eaten apples. I don't have a lot of oranges. They contribute to migraines over time. I don't eat a lot of pineapple, although I do like these fruits. I love stone fruit. I love cherries. I buy those as frozen from the frozen section. I don't really eat bananas. However, having said that, for the last 3 months, I've had such a thing for banana smoothies, and often they have been my evening meal because I haven't wanted much. I don't have a lot of time in the evening. I don't want to spend a lot of time cooking, and I've just been enjoying a banana smoothie. And it would be fair to say I've probably eaten more bananas in the last 3 months in banana smoothies than I have all up in the last 5 years. So there you go. Things come and go, things change, and that's how life and food should be. In the frozen section of the supermarket, other than the frozen cherries that I've already said I sometimes buy frozen raspberries or blueberries. But I don't really buy anything else. Sometimes my mind says, oh, yes, go on. Winter's coming up. Buy a pie, pop it in the freezer. And I will. I'll pick out the best of the selection there and I'll buy a pie and I'll put it in the freezer and it will still be there next winter. I just don't eat these foods, but sometimes I provide them to be in the freezer for those times that my brain says, oh, I just feel good, it's there. So that's really it. I've rarely bought anything else from the frozen section. I don't even buy frozen vegetables anymore, although I don't have a problem with those, but I just prefer fresh veggies. I like bread. Bread is okay for me. I just purchase a good quality bread with no preservatives from a local bakery. And it's really not about bread. It's about toast. It's about toast and Vegemite. Toast and Vegemite is my staple go-to food. Love it, love it, love it. Always going to have it. I don't buy much from the canned section. I used to buy everything from the canned section, from canned fruits to all canned vegetables, canned fish, all of that stuff. Used to buy loads of it. Don't buy it anymore. I buy some pulses because I like to have black beans when I make Mexican food. I have canned tomatoes and some tomato puree. That's pretty much it. Beetroot. I like beetroot. I do not have canned fish. I've not bought or consumed canned fish in probably 15 years. I ate an ocean of tuna from when I was in my teens right up until I stopped eating canned fish. I used to have a tuna fish sandwich every day for, I think, all through my teens and my early 20s. I just really loved it. One day I looked at it as I, developed and got more involved in what good food really is. And one day I just looked at the color of the canned tuna and went, oh, what the hell am I eating there? like when you look at fresh fish, flesh, even fresh tuna, it's blood red. It just looked clean and inviting. And then I looked at the color of the tuna in a can and I thought, I'm never eating that ever again. And I haven't. So I don't eat canned salmon, love fresh salmon. And by fresh salmon, I mean I buy it fresh, but it goes in my freezer. So it's there when I want it. I don't really buy meat for the freezer anymore. There is some in there, but generally I buy meat and eat it without freezing it. In my cupboards, though, I have some of your basic condiments: Worcestershire sauce, soy sauce, sweet chili sauce, some barbecue sauce. I don't really eat tomato sauce. I have a thing of mayo and I have mustards. They all have the date written on them when I open them because I hardly use them. I like to have them, but I hardly use them, and they will go out of date. Like if I clean out the fridge, I look at them. Every time I go to use them, I look at the date I opened it, because that's the date I've written on it with a marker pen. And I think, oh, it's been 2 years since I opened it. So I have to keep a little eye on those things and keep them in rotation so that they're actually fresh and in date. But they are there because there are times when they are useful for, a salad dressing, or just want to put it on a steak or something. Sometimes you just want to have some extra flavor. Teas and coffees, yes, I drink and enjoy both. I buy ground up coffee. I don't buy the beans. I don't have a grinder. But I buy just normal ground up coffee, not freeze dried. I don't drink that anymore. If I do, I get a headache. So I have normal coffee. I have a very basic drip filter coffee machine. I don't have anything fancy. I don't buy any of the pre-made cappuccino sachets or any of that stuff. Nothing with flavors or preservatives added to it. That's all going to be so bad. So it's just plain coffee. How I have my coffee is I either have coffee with milk or I have black coffee with sugar. I don't have both. I don't have milk and sugar. And tea. I just like normal black tea. I have tea with milk occasionally, maybe once a week. I have tea with milk and honey. That is just something that I started having, I don't know, 1,000 years ago when I was unwell. Somebody made me a cup of tea with milk and honey, and it was so soothing. I still have one once a week. Occasionally, that starts to creep into being my everyday thing. So I moved that down to, sorry, you're just a once a week thing. I don't buy herbal teas. I don't really like them. But if I do buy them, I look through the ingredients and make sure it's just herbal tea, no flavors, no additives. A lot of herbal teas are just full of flavors and additives. Who wants that? I don't buy cereal. I certainly don't buy muesli bars. I used to buy all of those things, but I don't buy them anymore. I have oats in my cupboard. They are sometimes one of these staple things that I like to have on hand that I rarely use. So actually, they're not even in the cupboard, they're in the fridge. Most things I have are in the fridge or in the freezer to provide longevity because I don't use them all the time. There's only one cereal that I really like. It's actually a UK muesli, Alpen. And pre-COVID, it was available in our supermarkets, just in the international section. It's now not available, hasn't been available since COVID. So I find it hard to get. I can buy it on Amazon, but it makes it quite expensive. So I don't really eat cereal. I don't like porridge. I enjoy the smell of porridge. I think it smells so beautiful. But I have to have 4 pounds of brown sugar on it to make it palatable. So I don't eat porridge. I don't buy biscuits. If I want biscuits, I make my own, which rarely happens because I haven't got time to make biscuits and I only want 1 or 2. If I can buy something in a single serve, I will buy it in a single serve. If I could buy 1 Tim Tam, I would buy 1 Tim Tam, but you have to buy a packet. I don't want a packet. I eat maple syrup and honey. I buy honey from my local markets, because there's a guy there who has his own beehives, and it's the best honey. It's already half crystallized before I buy it, and it's very, very nice. And maple syrup is another thing I use. I have sugar in my cupboard. I don't use it because I generally have my coffee with milk, not black with sugar. Chocolate. Yes, I eat chocolate. I only buy it if it can be a one-serve thing. One little block, like one little bar of chocolate. So I can just have that. That's my serve. I don't buy blocks. I don't buy boxes of chocolates. And the same with lollies and all of that. Never buy them. If someone offers me a lolly, I might have it. It's not a no-no. It's just not something I personally buy. I haven't had McDonald's or Hungry Jack's in at least 15 years. I have eaten Subway because sometimes Subway is just the best choice when I'm out and about and I haven't got control over my food because maybe I'm traveling or I'm ravenously hungry and I can't wait to get home. So I might have a Subway. I don't buy the meatballs or any of that stuff. I don't have the cheese. I just have either the cold meat or they have a chicken or turkey that I eat. I do have a bit of their mayo. I like their Southwest sauce. I like pizza. Pizza is yummy, but I don't buy it. I don't buy any of the big name brand pizzas because they're oily and awful. And if I do have a pizza, it's got to be the thin and crispy base. So there's hardly any dough. None of these things with all the cheese in the base and stuff. Why do we need that? That's just, oh, so bad. So bad for our colon. If I'm somewhere and there's pizza on offer, I will have a piece. I enjoy pizza. I also love sausage rolls and pies. Like I said, I will buy a pie and I'll put it in the freezer, but it'll sit there forever because frozen pies, well, they're really not that good, are they? They're just not that good. But in an emergency, in an absolute dire situation, I will have it. However, if I'm in the mood, I go past a nice bakery and they have a pie or a sausage roll, I will have one. But I always buy the party pie, not the big size. Thankfully, they do party pies at bakeries now. So I just buy a small party pie or the small sausage roll. One bite, like a couple of bites, that's all I need. Before, I would have had to have bought maybe 2 pies and, a couple of sausage rolls. I used to overeat enormously. You have no idea how far I've come with the changes in my food. I eat all meat. I'm very choosy about mince that I buy, but I do buy mince because it's a very versatile meat to have around. Can make meatballs or Mexican food, like a Mexican mince, chili, like a chili thing, or Italian, make like a bolognese type thing. I like mince. Mince is versatile, but again, I buy the lean stuff. I always really inspect it to see how much fat is there, and I will buy the best mince that is available. If there is no good mince available, I do not buy it. I eat steak. I eat lamb. I eat chicken. I don't mind pork, but I don't buy pork. It's not something I look at and go, oh yeah, let me have pork. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't buy it. I don't buy pre-made meat things. Like I don't buy anything that's pre-marinated, pre-wrapped in pastry, none of that stuff from, the butchers. They often have all this pre-prepared food for your convenience, even though it's from a fresh butcher. The marinades and things that they buy, they're all awful. They're all full of sugars, fats, salts, and preservatives, colors, all that sort of thing. Unless there's an ingredients list right there, I'm not interested. So I just buy meat. I eat very simply, to be honest. I used to eat very unsimply, very complicated. I used to always want to be making lasagnas and Indian food, and things had to be elaborate. I just like simple food, a meat with vegetables or salad. And generally I have salad because I just find that much easier. I like vegetable soup. I make a lot of vegetable soup. The vegetable soups generally have the same vegetables. The vegetable varieties in life are pretty standard. There's some things I don't really eat. Mushrooms, they're nice, but they're not in my soup. I have a lot of leek, onion, zucchini, and then the basic root vegetables of sweet potato, carrots. I don't really use pumpkin. Sometimes I use parsnips and swede, but not much. And then occasionally I add in either pulses when I'm cooking it, or I leave it. I always add in garlic, turmeric, and often some ginger. And then I often make some meatballs and freeze them separately, and I can have either feta, yogurt, or meatballs in the soup, or just have it plain. I also like chili. I will drink beer, wine, and I like vodka and soda. I don't drink any other spirits. Oh, and I like bubbles. Bubbles are very nice. But as a general rule, I only have 2 drinks a week, generally on a weekend. I just find that sometimes that starts to creep back in. Oh, let's have a drink. It's Wednesday. Let's celebrate Wednesday. And all of a sudden, my drinking amount goes up just incrementally. And so I keep an eye on that one and keep it, low. 2 a week is good. I don't really enjoy being over intoxicated. I used to drink far more heavily and could consume more. Now I just simply can't. My body says, no, I'm sorry. This is just not exciting for us anymore. So in short, I eat anything that I like, but not everything that I want. Wanting is the old voice of addiction. Foods that I like is the new voice of choice that I developed. Choices in food, movement and lifestyle, freedom in my mind and body, and control of my weight, health and happiness, and ultimately my life. So thank you for watching or listening today. If you want any more help with this, do just book in for a private session and let's just get it done this week, because life is for living and an ounce of adjustment is always easier to implement than 20 pounds of change. It's time to enjoy the life you've been looking for.